which is now the Loughry College, and did a course there after I left school in the 70s, and went there and got this job in Sturton, in near Ipswich, 7 miles the Essex side towards Essex. And he was there when I was there, and it was just as I was telling the other ones, if they'd seen that picture, upstairs, downstairs. In those days it was a big private estate, and they had 20 cows, and were Jersey cows, lovely milk, and I was the dairy maid. And I talked to the dairy, and then there was the farm, and then Daddy he used to drive this old lady, real lady, she wasn't a lady by name, but she was a lady, and he used to take her to Ipswich to do the shopping, and then believe it or not, even in those days, there was a falling out, she was at Calcutta, and that was in 1935 I went there. So I met him there. But
he was the chauffeur then?
Huh?
Was he the chauffeur?
He was a chauffeur, yes, and he did all round the garden. He was a good chauffeur. And then when the gentry in the village, in those days they all had sherry parties, and they would come to each other's houses, and all the chauffeurs from all the different houses in the district would have come, and he would have to entertain them up in this big garage, and then till the gentry were ready to go away again. Remember that? And but he and I used to fall out because he couldn't know why. Sometimes he had to do the milk round. We had 3 milk rounds in naval school. One at 7:30 in the morning for the naval school, one for the round the village, and one to Ipswich. And he used to never could count the money, people's money right. And then you see, I didn't get into bother, but I had a job sorting it out. Then when I used to go in for my breakfast, we all ate in this big room, just like upstairs, downstairs. The butler sat here, the cook Christine sat there, I sat there, the 2 lady girls that did the housework upstairs sat there, where Marita is, and Dad sat there. How did he sit there and couldn't eat meat? Now he can't eat, he won't eat any, he's that fussy about his diet, and yet he used to sit at the table with us.
You used to eat anything then?
The old lady, and he used to go out, that's right, he had to take her Tuesdays and Fridays to Ipswich to do the shopping. And I've told this yarn before, but she was a lady that she wasn't above herself or anything. She would have stopped the car on the road and give anybody an old, tramp a lift, and at the same time she could mix with royalty, she had mixed with royalty. But anyway, whenever they used to come up this street in Ipswich and turn right to go down to do the shopping, whenever they came up and the policeman was on duty, directing the traffic, she would say to Dal, Martin, stop now. We'll talk. I see baby face, that's what she called the policeman. I see baby face on duty. So she stopped the car and wound down the window and talked to him and this, that and the other, and then away they would go down the street. And she says to Dad, now Martin, whenever you see them, she says, you always speak to them and you always call them officer, because it makes them feel important. She mentioned that. Oh, you'd have to live there just to know. We had good fun there. It was great, And
Granny, talk about your wedding day.
Oh.
So tell about your reception and who put your reception on for you and all that.
Oh, aye, she did. Oh yes, old lady. Oh yes, you see, I had nobody. Our people were living in Donald, I suppose they were then, and at Ferrybank at the nursery. That's right. And I'd been in England so it was in 1934, and this was 1904, and the war was at its height, and it was horrible.
Were you engaged
The
then?
Battle of Britain was going on.
Oh yes, we were engaged then.
When did you get engaged?
Oh, I can't remember. When I was 21.
21?
Right.
Right.
That would be
I
30.
was 23 when I married, and I was 20, nearly 26. He'll be 96 next month. And no, about the wedding day. Oh yes. So I said to the old lady, I just called Mrs. Oakland, her name was. Martin and I think we're getting married. So she said, well, she didn't want me to leave, you see, or go away. So she said, yeah, you can be married from here. Sure, you can be married from here. And she gave me away at my wedding.
Did they have a church in the grounds?
Just across at the bottom of the garden it was.
Yeah.
I never had a car, just walked across the lawn, through this big gate, across the street.
With your welly boots on? With your welly boots on to your dress?
No, it was properly dressed. You'll see the photograph. And
Who was at the reception? Tell them who was at the reception.
she gave me away. What?
She had all these military people at
she
the
had
reception, didn't she?
phoned up. We had not many, well, we had a few guests like you people around the village. Not many now, when you think of it. So she apparently had phoned up the, what are you laughing?
Those people around the village.
Well, he did.
We were communists. We were communists.
No, but I don't mean that. My kind neighbours. No, that's right. So she phoned up that there was 2-3 admirals, the HMS Ganges, if anybody, that doesn't convey anything, and that's where all the trainee sailors went. And all these big admirals and that, near Harwich it was. And she must have phoned up, she used to phone up these she was friends with these naval people. And so she got all these people to come out to the wedding reception. And also the people, Daddy wasn't working at Stutton House when we were married. He was in the airport then.
All right.
But before he went to the Air Force, he'd worked for a Mr. Fyson. They grew manures and things.
Yeah.
And oh, now it's gone out of here. That's right, Mr. Fyson. That's right, Mrs. Fyson was at our wedding. Oh, I should have brought the photographs round. Don't want to send you. Anyway, we were married, and Daddy came home on the Friday. He went down. He lodged at Mrs. Fyson's gardener's house, and on the Saturday we were married. And at 4, that was 3 o'clock. 4 o'clock, the siren, airway silence went. That was a bomb alert. And then the next day,
Where did you spend that evening? In the house?
he went home to see his mother.
Well, it was a very good wedding night.
Yeah. Well, you see, you laugh. You people laugh, but you don't know what it was like.
No.
You see, and we were only 15 miles from the coast, and nobody was allowed. You want to no other residents from part of England were allowed to go and live there, and it was also restricted, you see. And so there was none of my people there. Only my auntie. We got her down from Yorkshire, and she came down and she stayed with the old lady.
All right.
She put her up for the night. And
What time did Frank leave then to go see his mum? Did he leave at
4 o'clock?
was it after 4 o'clock?
oh no.
In the evening.
Oh yes. Of course it was. I remember going in the train to Ipswich.
Went with him, did you?
Oh yes. And we stayed the night, and then he got up in the morning and had to go back to Wales.
All right.
Yes, no honeymoon.
No.
That was what he got 24 hours. he was going to be posted overseas, and we didn't know whether it was right or not. So we decided to get married.
Yeah.
That's why we got married so quickly. We'll do it until the end of the war.
Yeah. Wait, how long before you saw him again?
Oh, he was home again. Oh, aye, at the end of September he got leave.
All right.
Week's leave, so we should have waited till then. But anyway.
All right, so you came back after a month or so.
Then I stayed on in my work.
Yeah. Were you there the rest of the war?
Oh yes, that was all. I left there in 19... Oh, I know what happened. Daddy was posted to a station in Hertfordshire called Bassingbourn.
Right.
And one night he could hear the planes used to take off and let practice and then land. They called it circuits and bumps.
Yes, yes.
Up and down and round and down. And he said one night he knew there was a different plane in the air going round and round, and he knew it wasn't one of theirs.
Yes.
And it was a German. Turned out to be a German. And what it was going round with the planes. It didn't stop flying at night, they kept flying all night. But he knew that it was different.
Yeah.
And then when it came round, all of a sudden it was the biggest bang.
Yeah.
And they bombed the airfield, you see. One block missed every other block. Hit his block, and he was downstairs, and his bed was behind the door, if you know what I mean. And there were 14 other, it was weekend, and a lot of the boys were just away home for the week. And when he came back, when he was there, and he was in his bed behind the door, and he heard this noise, and he guessed it was a German. And it dropped the bomb, sure enough, and the whole thing came down, and the roofs were concrete upstairs. All the boys upstairs were killed, and 14 boys in his block down below were killed, and he wasn't killed. The door, whatever way the door fell, it saved him. So he remembers getting up, he got up and felt up, there was a window someplace, and he could feel the window was out, and he got through the window and out to the outside. They had shelters, you know, down across the street, and he went into the shelter, and whenever he went into the shelter it was half full of water.
Oh gosh.
So, but anyway, he came out, and he wasn't, his hair came out. His hair came out, that's right. He had no hair. Yes, the next 2 or 3 days I think he had no hair.
The shock.
That's right. And his legs were hurt. And then he always had bald patches in his head after that.
Gosh.
So anyway, they all had to go to the medical place. That was it. And then he got nervous then. But we were married then, that's right, we were married then. And I was still in my job at Stutton. And then when he was working with this fella in his work, and he said he was getting moved. So he says, if you like, I'll mention to the lady, if you want to live out being married, you can get living out quarters. So he got the living quarters, and I lived at Royston then, 2 or 3 years after.
Was that 43 or something? 42, 43?
Yes, I came home in 43, and Diana was born in 44.
That's right.